Good afternoon, viewers. Welcome to this edition of Ask Your MP activity this week. Here at Parliament of Uganda, we have Honorable Sidi Lowilla. She will introduce herself to you, what responsibility she has, where she represents, and what other things she does. And we go on. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you. Thank you, viewers. Yes, so my name is Lowilla Sidi Oketayot. I represent the people of the district, and this is my second term in Parliament. I am an agriculturalist by profession, and during the first two sessions of the 10th Parliament, I was the chairperson of the Parliamentary Committee on Agriculture, Animal Industry, and Fisheries.
Thank you, viewers. From the introduction, she's the right person we are talking to today. Today we are handling the issue of Operation Wealth Creation. Operation Wealth Creation was established in 2018 as an intervention to ensure that there is a middle economy, there is some progress from subsistence farming to commercial farming. Honorable, being the former chairperson of Agriculture Parliamentary Committee and at the same time an agriculturalist, what is your evaluation? How do you evaluate Operation Wealth Creation?
Yeah, thank you very much. I would say Operation Wealth Creation as it stands now has not yet been very effective. We are aware Operation Wealth Creation was introduced more or less replacing the NATS program. But if we recall how the NATS program was implemented, where the main focus was on giving information to the farmers, where service providers, facilitators would be giving information to farmers, information on modern farming practices. It was to one extreme, mainly focusing on information without the inputs, the technology that the farmers would get to make practical the information that have been given. So now when Operation Wealth Creation was introduced, it was saying now it is information training farmers without the facility, the technologies. That was under none. But now when Operation Wealth Creation was introduced, to me, it is again to the extreme that emphasis is being put on the inputs without the information. And this is what I even told the president one time when we interfaced with him, that the problem with this program is we are just looking at extremes. The first instance was the extreme was capitalizing on giving information without the necessary inputs and technologies that should empower the farmers. And now with Operation Wealth Creation, the emphasis is on the inputs without the information. So there is a need of striking a balance. There is need of striking a balance so that the information we give the farmers should be accompanied by the required technologies and the input. So you marry the two, and that is how we can be able to empower the farmers. That is why during the first 2 years, when I was chairperson of the Committee on Agriculture, we had to put our feet down as a committee and emphasize the issue of extension workers. And I am grateful. I want to support, I want to appreciate and thank the members of Parliament during those first 2 years. They supported the recommendations of my committee. And as I talk now, I think the government has been recruiting extension workers. The second session, when I was chairperson, we said, no, we cannot recruit extension workers and leave them without facilitation. Extension workers were recruited, but there was no money that was put in the budget to facilitate them. So it was like you recruiting somebody, paying that person's salary, and the person is not facilitated to do work. And again, we emphasize as a committee, and some money was allocated. Now, what we expect to see is these extension workers getting down to interact with the farmers by first starting to identify the needs of the farmers and coming up with proper prioritization. Some of these inputs that are being procured under Operation Well Creation are just being imposed on the farmers. Okay? You find citrus seedlings, you find mango seedlings being taken to the farmers without information. They are not even aware where is the market for that. How are they going to benefit? So there is need of these extension workers that I believe are now in place, getting down, interacting with the farmers, identifying the needs of the farmers, prioritizing the enterprises according to the area. And then also with the information on the market information. And then if we really handle it in this way, holistic way, I think we should be able to help our farmers.
Thank you, viewers. If you have just joined us, we are talking about Operation Wealth Creation, an entity that was established or came in place in 2018, 2013, and was launched by the president. Viewers, I would like to inform you that we are joined by the woman MP for Kitgum, Honorable Margaret Lamohaudwa. She'll be part of the discussion. She'll go with us as we go on. So, Honorable, there is concern about the kind of seeds that are taken to farmers, and those seeds don't germinate. And also there is concern about seeds that are taken when it is dry season or when it is off period.
Yeah, it is true. That is there is the issue of the timing of the delivery of these inputs is a big question. Even when we present a report, I think we came up with a very strong recommendation on that. It is very true that the concern on the timing is right, is genuine. Most of the time, the inputs are delivered late, not on time. This has been happening because we carried out a county-wide assessment on the performance of Operation Well Creation. And these were the things we found on the ground. And even me personally, as a leader in my district, I've been seeing this. So at least on that, I think the concern that is being raised is very genuine. However, on the issue of the quality of the seeds, I would say we should not generalize on that. I am aware and I can give evidence. I have farmers who can give evidence that some of the seeds that are given to the farmers are delivered to various areas under Operation Well Creation. Some of the seeds are of quality, they are good seeds. And I have testimonies from some farmers who have really been very happy with the outcome of the output or the outcome of the seeds they got. But then it is also very true that some of the seed companies do not have quality seeds. Their seeds are of poor quality. They do not germinate well. This one is very true, but I want to say we should not generalize. There are companies that have good seeds. However, there is also a problem of handling the seeds. For example, I received complaints from some members of parliament who are also involved in mobilizing farmers, mobilizing the Ugandans to engage in the production to ensure food security. Especially, we have been giving maize. So there are members of parliament who have got back to us and were complaining about the quality of their seeds. But this is because of how they also handle the seeds. I have seen how some farmers, some people handle seeds. It is also not in a good way. So if you get quality seeds and you don't handle it well, definitely you will not get anything of it, out of it. It will not germinate. Seeds are living things. It's like when you get a baby that has just been delivered and you just dump the baby there. the people cannot survive. It is just like seeds. Seeds are living things. So when you get your seeds, maybe you transport it even when it is raining. You go and offload and then dump them in a room. The temperature will go up. It has already got moisture. 1-2 days, those seeds will all, the germplasm, the living part of the seed will die. So you will go ahead, plant your seeds, it will not germinate, and then you start blaming the source of the seeds. And yet the problem was created by you on how you've handled your seeds. So I do not want us to generalize on the issue of the quality of the seeds. We appreciate that some of the seeds that are given to farmers are of good quality, but the way the seeds are handled needs to be addressed. And that is why it is important to have extension workers in place, because they are the ones who can help these farmers to know that when you are handling seeds, handle the seeds under these conditions and in this way.
Yeah, thank you, Honorable, for your elaborate explanation. Viewers, we would like to introduce to you once again our new member in the discussion, Honorable Margaret Lamwaka, woman MP for Kitgum. She will introduce herself to you and the roles that she's taking. Then she will tell us whether the money allocated to agricultural sector is enough for it to achieve its objectives. You're welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Viewers, my name is Lamwaka Margaret. I'm the woman member of Parliament, Kitgum District. I want to appreciate, first of all, what is being discussed now. My first question or answer to you, to what you have said, is the money allocated to agriculture. To me, I still look at it as something still very little, because if we want to retain or if we want to achieve the middle status in Uganda, since agriculture is the backbone of is one of our main work that we do. All people in Uganda are agriculturalists. So if we want to attain the middle status, money for agriculture must be added. The percent that they have given is little and is still little. Two, the outputs of agriculture that we have. Because up to now, as I talk, like in Kitgum district, if I'm to say, we don't have tractors. People are to open their gardens using the ox seasons, the ox plow, or even till. Now, what products is one going to get? So, in one way or the other, I still see that if we want agriculture to boost in Uganda, we need to put a lot of inputs and even the varieties that should be given to the farmers.
Thank you, Honorable. I'm coming back to Honorable Sidi Lewila.
Yes.
You were, for the last 2 years or the last 2 terms, you have been chairperson agriculture. And it is Parliament that approves the budget. Why do you allow Parliament to give you some small money for your sector?
Thank you very much. That one is a very, very strong concern or question. If we get down and look at the recommendations that were made by the Committee on Agriculture, not only when I became chairperson of Committee on Agriculture, by the way, I can even reflect back to the 9th Parliament, because even in the 9th Parliament, I was a member of the Agriculture Committee, though I was not the chairperson. So if we are to look at the records of Parliament and get out reports of the Committee on Agriculture and see the recommendations that we have been making year in, year out, you will get amazed. Because we have really been emphasizing the point that we cannot continue allocating less than 5% of the national budget to the committee on, to the agricultural sector. Because this is a productive sector. If we must fight poverty, the money must get into the agricultural sector, because that is where the majority of Ugandans are employed. over 70% of Ugandans derive their livelihoods from farming, from agriculture.
Yes.
We have really been emphasizing this. So it is not now the issue of the Committee on Agriculture only, but it gets back down to the House, where you find that sectors are all competing for the same limited resource within the same resource envelope. That is where the challenge is. Otherwise, we have really been advocating, we have really been appealing, we have really been emphasizing. Maybe I would say we are only getting defeated, but otherwise we have really, even during other debates, when we are discussing the national budget framework paper, just like very recently, we have really been emphasizing the point that the government must allocate. We know about the Maputo Declaration, which says at least 10% of the national budget should be allocated to the agricultural sector. But how much are we getting? It has even been reducing. And when I was chairperson, I pleaded and I said, at least we want to see gradual increment. Even if we cannot allocate the 10%, it may not be possible just instantly to step up from maybe 3% to 10%. But at least we want to see that gradual trend, that gradual increment. And what is so annoying is that even at times you find that during a particular financial year, you see the percentage going down. And that is what I was really emphasizing, that if we cannot increase at all, at least let us maintain the level. It is very annoying, it is very bad to see the level, the percentage going down. So at least we have been emphasizing that as a committee. Maybe the issue is what we always get from government is the issue of limited resources.
Thank you, viewers. If you have just joined us, we are talking about Operation Wealth Creation. And here at the show, we have Honorable Sidi Lowilla, Woman MP for Pade, and we have Honorable Margaret Lamwaka, Woman MP for Kitgum. Honorable viewers are watching you all over the world, and they are sending you questions. You can, let's start with the Honorable Margaret. You can read the first question, you answer the person, then Honorable Sidi Lowilla will go to the second.
Let Honorable Margaret come in later. I've already seen these questions. In fact, the first two questions, I would want to marry the first two questions, that how does Operation Wealth Creation work with the Ministry of Agriculture, and how does Operation Wealth Creation work with nuts? This is very interesting. It indicates on the level of lack of information that our people should be having. Because, by the way, this Operation Wealth Creation is still under nuts. And nuts is an agency under Ministry of Agriculture. So when we talk about Operation Wealth Creation, it is just an approach of supporting the farmers. It is not an agency. It is just like a program, which is still under NADS. And NADS is an agency under Ministry of Agriculture. And the money that is allocated to procure inputs under for Operation Wealth Creation Program is money that is allocated to NADS as an agency. And the overall institution that supervises NADS is Ministry of Agriculture. So NADS is an agency under Ministry of Agriculture, and money for Operation Wealth Creation. Operation Wealth Creation is a program. Now we have the aspect of the soldiers that are coming in. And according to the standing procedure of operations, these soldiers, according to that standing order of operations, are supposed to monitor. They are only supposed to monitor because it was recorded that there are high level of abuses where resources are allocated to procure inputs, the inputs are not procured. So according to the explanation that is given in that standing procedure operation, which of course was instituted by the president himself, the president decided that soldiers should come in to monitor and ensure that whatever should be procured is procured, the money not swindled. And then if it is procured, the soldiers must make sure that whatever is procured is delivered to the right place, and the right people should get it. And that is why we have the soldiers. So the soldiers should have been working together with the technical people at that secretariat. And by the way, it is even that secretariat that procures all these inputs. So the work of the soldiers, all these army officers, are to ensure that these inputs are delivered to the right place, to the right people. So this is really what we should understand from the relationship between Ministry of Agriculture, NAD Secretariat, and then Operation Well Creation itself as a program or as an approach of empowering the farmers.
We have questions. Maybe we start with the Honorable Margaret. That how is it working in your constituency? Somebody say.
Yes. Operation Well Creation was not doing well in my constituency. Why do I say so? One, the delivery of the inputs or even the seedlings, the seeds, sometimes is delivered very late. Like in Kibum district, everybody knows the dry spells in our area. So once any seed is delivered past April, May, June, we would not be able to achieve what is supposed to. Two, the work of Operation Well Creation, yes, it is there existing. But what I fail to see is that the outcome of Operation Well Creation is not that catching the high of the people that at least we have improved. Why are we saying so? Like when they give cassava cuttings, for example, you get the cassava cuttings which are brought, they are brought late, and in our place they're as dry as it is. Sometimes even the cuttings are dry already. They're already dried stems. And when they take them, now what do we say? What do we do? It is not doing, it is never planted. That is why we are always experiencing the problem of hunger still in Kibum district. Then the procurement of the seedlings was not a consultative work with the farmers. The ministry would procure whatever they think and send without the consent of the farmers down there. So most of my people in Kitgum district, they receive maybe like seeds, maize seeds. Sometimes they want beans, but beans are not there. And in our area, not everything can be productive. We can produce maize, yes, but even in some other sub-counties within Kitgum district cannot produce maize. Not all the soil around there can produce maize. But now when you send maize, that means you are sending it to be either to be wasted or not. But I want to say it now that at least this year, they have come back to consult, to talk to the people down, to bring in the types of seeds they want to plant. So at least that one there, I am still to see what is going to happen. If it will be done the way it is said, that they involve the communities to sit together with the Operation Well Creation, and they bring in what they want to plant, like simsim, nuts, maize, beans. Yes, that is when we shall see that the product is coming and is also bringing us some good yield. But at the same time, I still say, when we are procuring, or when Ministry of Agriculture is procuring, or NATS is procuring, NATS should have to procure what is supposed to be planted in just an area. Like for instance, in Kikum district, I don't know in Pade if you also had, for the last, over this time, we had been receiving coffee seedlings. we had been receiving fruits. And you will hardly get even one tree of mango, the grafted mango, or even oranges, simply because the delivery is always in August, October, where the farmers have not even prepared the garden. The farmers even don't know the knowledge. They have not been sensitized. So I still have a problem. To me, I still insist that Operation Well Creation, if the army are to monitor and to monitor the corruption that we have, please and please, we would have the agricultural extension workers to be there on the ground. Then we are going to see the product of Operation Well Creation. But if it is not done like that,